are. Like,
yes and no. So Sprout has one outing this year where he went 6 2/3.
so he's just who he is.
And he's got 2 6-inning outings. I think you say that, but remember, Sprout, while he's 25 and some of these other guys are 23, he is new to baseball, to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
He pitched 4 total games for the Mets last year.
Okay.
So this is his first year as a regular starter.
Yeah.
I think they believe that he will get to the point where he can be a 6 to 7 inning guy. He just needs to be a little more economical with his pitches.
Sure.
They need to, again, go through the pitching lab and maybe not nibble as much.
Yeah.
He doesn't walk a ton of guys, but he walks some guys. He's got, his walks aren't nothing. He's got 39 walks in 82 innings. So one every other inning, basically. So, you get to one every third inning, one every fourth inning. All of a sudden he can go another inning in the game.
For sure.
So I think the goal with Brandon Sproat, because his stuff is electric, is can they get him to that place? I think he can. The thing with Freddie is Freddie's been doing this for 7 years.
Yeah. So
we know Freddie's pitching 5. Right.
Exactly. I mean, that was our only thing I think last year that we, you could kind of complain on. It was just like, we are just not getting enough out of Freddie Peralta. Yep. He's just not giving us enough innings.
Let's real quick. Let's go to now my try to keep at least we got
video back. So
and now I can't play audio. Because I got an important tip coming up that I can't cancel out of or hit okay. Try to keep at least 10 megs free at all times.
Oh,
great.
Nice.
So we're gonna
Technology's
the worst. So anyway, I mean, I could play this on other things. I was gonna just play Murph talking about Miz. And we could get to that. You know what? We could do that with Wagner. We'll get with Wagner. We'll play some of that sound. Also yesterday of note, first career home run by Cooper Pratt.
Yeah.
And Cooper Pratt
had a good day.
He has been hitting much better as of late.
Yeah.
And he hit well when he first came up.
Yeah.
And then he kind of slumped. And we were like, oh, all you have to do is be better than Rengifo, bro. And it was kind of close whether he was
close, but he's definitely solidified.
Exactly.
Now. Yeah.
So
267 or something.
Yeah. And his on base is better.
Yeah.
So hitting his first home run, are you like they want him to be the everyday shortstop.
Yeah.
He's going to be the everyday shortstop. And I'll ask you, are you comfortable with, he didn't start the year. He's a rookie. He signed the deal. He seems to be getting more comfortable, but are we comfortable with the concept of your shortstop is like that guy who's too young to know any better, right?
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little, maybe even last week, where it was like, all right, is Cooper Pratt going to be some trade bait? Like, what is his role in this with this team? And kind of seeing how he solidified. And I do think it was, you come in early. It's almost baseball season like the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 months is like a full, it's a full season of the NFL.
Yep.
So then it's like, all right, that's like your rookie season.
Yeah.
And now you're saying sophomore slump. And it's almost like Cooper Pratt went into a sophomore slump there for like, a month, whatever, number of games. And because when you come in coming out of AAA, it's like, you don't know any better.
Right.
And you're like, all right,
exactly.
He kind of came out, he's hitting, he's doing some good things.
Yep.
And then you kind of, all right, I'm actually in the big leagues now.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of settled back in where it's like, all right, I've gone through this progression, and I'm sure Yelich, Contreras, like some of these veteran guys, Terrain, like put his arm around them, and they're just like, hey, you'll move through this moment and you'll come out of it. Don't get too big. Don't get too high, too low, stay steady. That's what we do here with the Brewers. You're going to be the guy and you're going to get this thing done. And it feels like that's exactly where he is right now. It's just, he's getting at bats. He's solid in the infield. He's doing what he needs to do. And now that, it's like, who knows if he gets a home run, maybe that bat gets even more electric.
Yep.
And he becomes a guy that this team can kind of rely on in that lineup.
That would be great.
And I mean, nothing surprises me with this team.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the Bryce
It's the Brewers way, right?
It's like, you're not going to be surprised. And it's like, this guy is just going to find his footing and find where he fits in. And this team just gets it done. So, just you think Andrew Vaughn still just ripping the ball.
Right. Finally gets a start and hits a home run.
And he gets discarded from, whenever we, brought him in last year. It's just like, oh man, like why is this guy coming to the Brewers? Is he going to be anything? And then he just finds a way to get it done. And he's one of my favorite guys to watch on the team.
He is.
And he just needs to get more regular starts. It's tough with Bowers and him. You're just like, who do you start?
And that Yelich is still playing as much as he is.
Yeah.
Back to Cooper Pratt real quick. So he came up June 16th, and in the month of June, he hit 211 with a 532 OPS. He dipped down at his worst point on July 3rd. He was down to 191 with a 479 OPS, which is real bad. Since then, he's all the way up to 267 with a 717 OPS, which makes him basically league average for OPS, which is way better than Rengifo was. But in the month of July alone, he's hitting 313 with an 862 OPS. I'm not saying he can be that guy, but Charlie, when you look at Cooper Pratt, like what type of enthusiasm is it? Pure enthusiasm, or are you still like, hey, let's let this settle to the real till we find out who the real Cooper Pratt is?
It's pure enthusiasm, man. I've been waiting for this the entire season for them to start calling up these prospects. They finally called him up in June. They called up Luis Lara. Both those guys are electric every time they've played. Yes, he started off slow, but when he makes contact, man, he has so much fun. When he's on the base path, he has so much fun. Same with Lara. And now there's rumors of one of these other prospects potentially getting a contract extension. Then maybe we could see a third big time prospect come up to the major league level. Man, this is what you've had for so long now with that deep farm system, and they hadn't been willing to trade a lot of those top guys for a while, since the Christian Yelich trade, basically. And now you're seeing why they decided to do that, and that's starting to come to fruition. As much as I'd still like to see maybe a couple players be moved once trade deadline comes around if they feel like they're competitive enough, which number one record in the MLB usually says you're competitive enough. I would also like to see a lot of these guys start to finally make it to the major league level and show us what the Brewers have been hiding from so many people for so long. This is just the start, and Cooper Pratt is really exciting. That home run yesterday was really exciting. I had a lot of fun with that. I'm so excited to watch him for the rest of the season and the rest of the young players that start to come up through the system.
Not only about the young players, but Mason, Charlie's enthusiasm. Like, I think that's when you talk about Brewers fans and some of these young guys, and we talk about Madej and Pena and Fisher and all the young guys in the minors, but they bring up Pratt, they bring up Lara. Like, there's an enthusiasm about this organization right now. And I feel like it's not just Milwaukee, it's not just Wisconsin. Like, Major League Baseball finally gets it that, like, this Brewers organization is exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about what you were able to do with Pratt and Lara, and like what you're going to be able to do with Madej and Pena and Fisher. Like, that's what, 5 guys that if you sign all, like, you're going to have the rights to them for what, the next 10, 12 years. Like, it's just like, these guys are going to be on this roster, and they're going to be doing it for this Brewers club for a long time, barring any kind of trade scenario. So the Brewers just get it. They just get it. You have a few veteran guys. It's honestly, I mean, it's seemingly the Wisconsin professional sports way for a long time. I think the Bucks do it a little bit differently, but
they did. I mean, for a while, the Bucks,
Packers way forever,
right? And the Bucks had a way for a while too. They lost their way a bit, but I feel like they had a way also for a while.
Giannis was that guy,
right?
Like, he was the guy, that they developed and brought up through the system and got him a championship. So that's kind of the next thing for this Brewers team is now. All right. We've proven we can develop. We've proven we don't have to go out and reach for players to go and be competitive. Now, how do you get across that threshold and go win a championship? And that's the next step for this Brewers organization, is to bring home a World Series for this fan base. And once they do that, I mean, it's gonna be pandemonium.
And it's fun that we can, keep mentioning different, that Miz did what he did yesterday, and Cooper Pratt had his first home run. 414 says, how about Garrett Mitchell, healthy and raking? Jeff in the 414 says, welcome back to Wisconsin, Mace. Don't need Peralta for the playoffs. You can just piggyback the young guys. You got Miz and Harrison, and you have Henderson. But if it's Gasser or Sproat or Drowan, if they could pitch, if each of them could pitch 4 innings, there's 8 innings in a game, because you don't need 5 starters in the playoffs. You only need 4. 414 says, what about you trade Frelick, or could you use Mitchell as trade bait while he's hot? I don't think we want to trade Mitchell because he's so hot. But I
So
like,
hot right
but I
now.
like having those options. Like I would love if Matt Arnold's having those conversations with other teams. I would love if other teams are asking, what's the price for Garrett Mitchell?
And if there's a player big enough, you might as well make that move.
Right.
I mean, Garrett Mitchell, yes, you still have a few years of control, but if you can get a player back that you also have a few years of control left on too,
That's right.
He's worth that. You have enough talent. I'd be fine with Jackson Churio being the everyday center fielder and figuring out the rest of the outfield from there. That's really the only change you'd have to make. Maybe you could get Jake Bowers or Vaughn in an everyday first base role. I think that would, as much as Garrett Mitchell is playing well, and I'm really excited to see that he's been able to stay healthy and do this, that would fix a lot of these logjam problems that the Brewers have right now and potentially could give you a better look at what your future will be if you can get some of these young guys into long-term positions.
I like that. Well said, Charlie. Mason Crosby, Mitch Nellis, Charlie Usen, we are here with you. We're going to talk a little about Devontae Wyatt. Yeah. He gets a big deal yesterday. Right as we were going off the show, we saw that deal was happening. We'll talk a little bit. I know we have some defensive line rankings to go over with him. Charlie and Sparky were talking a little bit about that yesterday. We want to talk about what it takes to be a great athlete versus what it takes to be great at your sport. And does being a great athlete mean you're great at all sports? Or if you're good at all sports, does that automatically make you a great athlete? How do you define those certain things? Just because it's fun to talk about.
I like going back and forth on everyone has a different opinion.
Exactly. You are now watching the Mason Crosby Show on the Growth Law video stream. Yes, the video stream is up and running. Charlie is a magician. He is the absolute
Ed I
best.
Used all my brain power to figure that one out.
Yeah, you did. So that's the Growth Law video stream. If you're injured, Growth gets it. GROTH. GROTH. Charlie Usen, Mitch Nellis, and the aforementioned, the title nomenclature of this here radio program. You are listening to the Mason Crosby Show.
Oh, there it is.
Owner of a lonely heart, much better than the owner of a broken heart. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Mitch Nellis, Charlie Uzan, and Mason Crosby.
Yes, sir.
In the casa, if you will.
In the casa.
In the casa.
And with the nomenclature.
Exactly. You having a day, bro?
I always have a day. I had a day yesterday on the golf course.
Did you?
I did have a day.
Crushing it?
What was your final score? Did you keep score?
Well, we were 10 under as a team.
Okay.
And usually like I'm like, oh man, it was a team effort. We scrambled, we kind of ham and egg.
Mason comes off the course and he was like, that was not a team effort. I think we used every single one of my shots the entire time.
I worked yesterday. I
Maybe
think
a couple of putts were used by some other people. Did anybody else make any putts?
Like some guys made some, but and they would make it before me, so like I didn't even know if I would have made it.
Which I like that when somebody makes it and you can just walk off.
I did too, but I made probably 3 after everyone missed and jarred the birdie putt.
Yeah.
So it was one of those days like I was like, man, I hope I can play like this when I get back home or like the next time I go out.
How do you usually play at Grand Geneva? Like, is that a good course for you?
I do like it. Yeah, I don't know. It sets up. But it was like every drive right where I wanted it to be. Like I think we used all my drives on par 4s and 5s.
Wow.
Except there was one because it was just a different angle that we used, and we took a little. We actually played further back because they didn't want to go over the corner of a tree.
Okay.
Which if it had been my own ball, I was like, I was 100 yards out, and I'm just like, I'm gonna hit this shot, and it was like. It's an easy wedge, but
they were like,
we played from like 130 and more in the fairway. And,
all right.
We didn't make birdies, so I question it. I question everything.
Fair, that's fair. That's fair.
But I like my group. My group was great, and I think they were very encouraging of me playing well. They're like, just keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
We'll get this thing done
as it should be. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Yesterday was the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame golf outing at Grand Geneva. Fun was had by all. We're talking about I was going to say like the greatest team in the history of 2026 in Major League Baseball. Can I say that? Are the Brewers right now the greatest team in the history of 2026 in Major League Baseball?
The record,
right? They got right. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Fair. Yeah,
sure. You can say that.
We're going to talk a little bit about Devontae Wyatt signing a new deal with the Green Bay Packers, but first, let's go to Tommy in Bayview. Tommy wants to talk about the Brewers. What do you got for us today, Tommy?
Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day, and I'm glad to see you all so happy about the Brewers. But I am going to piss on your parade.
No, you go right ahead. You can't. I mean, you can try, but like some people, I'll just take a regular shower after.
You said before that the Brewers have figured it out. The Brewers have not figured everything out. The Brewers have figured out how to make a gullible city.
Wow.
For their team.
You're going after the whole city of Milwaukee right now.
And then put a team together that will win a little bit, but never win at all. And just keep gouging into our pockets, making us watch games on Peacock and Apple and pay for it on cable.
Which is where you need to watch.
Left and right, while Antonacio's smoking a fat Cuban cigar, eating lobster thermidor.
Oh, love lobster.
Silly fan.
That's what billionaires do, Tommy. We live in America. That's how America works, bro.
So Tommy, if they go and win the World Series this year, do you change that? Do you change your whole perspective then?
Yeah, but I'll still call Frelick weak sauce until he hits maybe over 6 home runs.
Okay.
All right, that's fair. All right, Tommy, thanks for the call. Tommy's so I'm gonna sum up Tommy in a more like kindness way.
Okay.
Tommy's just like he's not fully bought in, and he wants us to like remember that we went through this last year.
Sure.
That the team had the best record in all of Major League Baseball, and then they ran, and beat the Cubs, and it was wonderful, but then ran into the buzzsaw of the Dodgers, and that as exciting as it is to win more than 95 games in a baseball season, which it is, it's amazing, it's awesome. At some point, you'd like to see playoff postseason success.
You have to, and that's what I was saying. I think unless or until they win a World Series, I think everyone will enjoy this Brewers organization, enjoy what they do, but there will always be this version of disappointment. And no one's going to be fully, satisfied with, the product that is being put out there, because it's like, if you don't go and win a World Series, then you start questioning management, you start questioning the players, and you just say, what is missing? Because I talk about the Packers all the time in this vein, where it's like, we fell short. Like, we did have teams and everyone was like, oh, if they had just added this piece and all that. I'm like, tell me which piece was missing in some of these teams. It does just sometimes you just either lay an egg or you get beat. It's like,
you're right.
Stuff does happen, especially in the NFL. And there were teams where I'm like, there is not a position group on that football team that I would change out. Like, there's not a guy that I would want differently. Sure, you could have gone and paid the highest paid, the best player that year, but you never have you don't have a magic crystal ball to know that player was going to be awesome on your team that year. So I just think, and I agree with Tommy in the idea that if this team doesn't win a World Series, we are just following and paying and like chasing after a dream and a hope that maybe someday they will.
Right.
But if they go and win the World Series this year,
that changes things.
That perception has to, like, now it's like, all right, their model works. They figured out a way. They have the players, they have the people in that building that can get this done. And that was, that's what we did in 2010. I mean, that's like, when you do it, you prove that you have the people in the building.
Q going off on the video stream brought to you by Growth Law. This guy gets it. Marque is the devil. Team exists to sell brats and beers. Pad pockets of the sand thief. Weekly reminder, Marque took $250 million from the taxpayers and promptly reduced the payroll. Did he take $250 million from or was that he did, but it's also, they did build a new stadium and all those sorts of things. I mean, that was happening already, but
taking and accepting and like getting something like that done are, maybe two different things, but I can see that perspective. Again, until they win a World Series, it's like, would you rather them go and spend a ton of money and then see those ticket prices go even higher? Because that's how it works, right? Like, if all of a sudden they up that payroll and they start spending more money, it will get pushed back to the fans. It will get pushed somewhere because it ultimately is a business and that's how they run it. We don't have to like it, but that's how it works.
That's a good point. Let's go to Crawdaddy in Pewaukee. Crawdaddy, you're next up on the Mason Crosby Show. You have a bit of a differing opinion than Tommy and Bayview.
Hey boys, thanks for taking my call. And yes, here's my take on it. I think Tommy represents a fan base perspective that is, looking at this improperly. We could have $350 million payroll, and we could have $100 to go sit in the average seats at Miller Park. Instead, we've got a team that is competing every year. We've got the best farm system. We've got lots of bites at the apple, and we've got kids that are going to be superstars for the next 10 years. So my perspective
we sure hope
is that
so.
this team is going to get it done, and they're going to get it done at this price. Cup half full.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cup half full. Crawdaddy, thanks for the call. Again, I could, Tommy, I can take the other side, and Crawdaddy, I can take the other side. Because, again, a lot of those guys are prospects, and you never know if they're going to end up being what you want them to be. We hope they end up being that way. But again, we've seen we haven't seen enough success in the postseason to really feel confident that this is the direction we're headed in.
And then what's the reality too? Because that's like real in sports is you go and you pay somebody and you up this payroll by $100 million and that guy gets hurt and isn't available. Yeah. And then you've cut all this depth off your team to make sure that you can pay this player.
Yep.
This team is built on the next man, like a depth, like they can play day in and day out and still look relatively close to the same. And I think that is the beauty of what a baseball season is. But playoff success is where you're measured. It's measured in every sport. Like, can you win a championship? Can you get it done when it matters the most? And now the Brewers have to prove that.
Yes.
Because they have proved to us that They are fun to watch. They are great in the regular season.
We agree about all that.
Now we need to be wowed in the postseason.
Nick the mailman says only one team wins the championship every year. Until that, have fun and enjoy the ride. Don't punish yourself just because we haven't won one yet. I hear what you're saying, Nick, but standing next to a Green Bay Packer who firmly believes he should have won more than one ring. Yes, we as fans got to enjoy what the Packers did through the 2010s, but we still should have seen more than one ring. And the Brewers, however good they are over the next 5 to 10 years, not knowing what's happening next year with all the labor strife and the lockout. But yes, if Made comes up and he's as good as we think he is, and Miz is this good for the next 5 to 7 years for the Brewers, that's all great. And we will enjoy that in July.
Yeah.
But when it gets to October, we'd like to see a win.
And if any
two things can be true.
And this roster and all these guys, if they go and they win 4 seasons and they have 95 plus wins and all that and no championship, they'd be lying to you if like they moved on and they went away and they just said like, well, that was fun winning all those games.
Yep.
Like you look back and you say like, all that was great. The teams, all those, like you can appreciate it, but there is a level of disappointment if you don't get it done and go win a championship.
Absolutely.
Like, it weighs on you.
We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk about Devontae Wyatt, then Paul Wagner at 1:00. So we'll get back into the Brewers conversation. I know he'll have a lot of thoughts about Miz's pitch and inning restriction as a former major league pitcher. He's the perfect person to talk to today about that.
For sure.
Charlie Usen's here. I'm Mitch Nellis. Mason Crosby's having a day. He's having a good day, actually.
It's a great day.
It's a great day. Seeing a couple of the Crosby's crew.
Yep.
Love it.
It's a Tuesday.
It is. I don't know what day it is. It's summer, right?
It's summer.
We're not supposed to know what day it is.
That's right.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show with me, Mitch Thunder Nellis. Charlie Uzin is in the producer's chair today. The Green Bay Packers and Devontae Wyatt Monday agreed to a 3-year, $57 million contract extension with a $20 million signing bonus, his agent told NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. Devontae Wyatt locked up now. We know that Jaden Reed and Christian Watson are tied up. We know that talks ongoing, we believe, with Tucker Kraft. Devontae Wyatt made a big difference last year. Whether the numbers tell the story or not, the eye test told the story that when he was on the field, the defense was better.
They were.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it just was.
And I talk about that. We talked about it all season, and I talk about all of the time is Rashawn Gary was getting sacks because of guys like Devontae Wyatt.
Yep.
If you want to have a great pass rusher, you have to have at least one dominant interior defensive lineman.
Yep.
They have to take up guys, and they can't let you just double team everybody.
Yes.
Or they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Charlie, yesterday on Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer and the Gentle Giant, Charlie Uzin, you had some rankings for Devontae Wyatt, both pass rushing and run stopping. Do you have some of those available that you could throw out to Mason? Because I feel like Mason would love to hear some of those numbers. Yep.
First, I'd like to start with where he lines up contract-wise with some other guys in the league. So he's 19th overall for defensive tackles at about a $19 million a year salary. That puts him right above Cam Hayward, Vita Vea, and Ed Oliver, some really productive defensive tackles.
They are.
But Vita Vea and Ed Oliver are a little bit of one-trick ponies at that too. Vita Vea is very much a run stuff guy, and Ed Oliver is very much a pass rush guy. They don't do the opposite very well. So he gets right above them, and he's right under Christian Barmore, John Franklin Myers, and Osa Odigizua. I was trying to practice that. Still hard to say.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
What's the top D tackle?
The top D tackle right now is Jeff Simmons. He's making $35.27 million a year. That's right above Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence. Yeah. Chris Jones making 31, Dexter Lawrence making 28.
Wow.
Those numbers alone tell you how important that position is.
Yeah, I mean, there's some big money there.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we head over to PFF, I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of PFF. They don't trust those numbers as well, but it does give you a nice picture about what that season looked like last season for a certain player. Devontae Wyatt last year ranked 88th among 134 interior defensive linemen with a 52.9 overall grade. That was on 300,
just under the halfway point.
That was just on 379 snaps, which was 100th out of 225 eligible defensive linemen when it comes to snaps. He had 22 pressures and 16 tackles on the season total last year. As we go down, he ranked 93rd in solo tackles, 16 overall, 25th in sacks for interior defensive linemen, 4th overall, 16th in hurries, which was 55th overall.
So the sacks are there. He only played 10 games, right?
Yes, only 10 games.
I mean, I think this is the Packers way, right? Like they expect him to be healthy and be back and all that. And you make him, you don't make him a ridiculous offer, but he takes something that it's, 20th overall or whatever. And I think it's a fine deal. I mean,
he's your top D lineman
business now.
Right. He's your top D lineman. He's a former first round pick.
Yeah.
I think that's basically market rate. To me, that deal makes sense.
It's wild though, that that number is now
that's market rate. 19 million.
I feel like, I look back when I first got in the league, Brett Favre, I think was only making 10 to 15 million a year.
The business of the NFL has exploded.
That's $10 million would make you the 35th paid defensive tackle in the league. That's what Malik Collins, Ashawn Robinson, Tahir Tart are making.
Yeah,
you just made up names.
That's like a backup now, right? Those are just backup D linemen.
So what? 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits in 10 games last season. And we all know he had a pretty slow rookie season.
Yeah.
But he's got 14.5 sacks in 41 games over the last 3 years.
Okay.
So, 5 sacks a year from an interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Would you take, if I gave you 5.5 as the over under this year, would you take 5.5?
I mean,
would you take it if you get the over? Would you take
6,
that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think we would be juiced if your interior defensive lineman's getting 6 sacks whenever you have Micah Parsons and you hope Van Ness, has a heck of a year. So, Yeah, I think if that is like the benchmark and he's a 6-sack guy,
Yep.
this number is actually going to be way low for what it should be.
Well, and we only have about a minute left. Where do you expect Hargrave's impact to come in there too?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got another veteran guy in there. I think he's going to be I think he's just going to be a role player. Like Devontae Wyatt now is going to be kind of that anchor, and Hargraves is going to just do things off of him. But I do think it's going to take some load off of Devontae Wyatt so that he's not kind of stressed and trying to do too much. So I think both those guys are going to be a real benefit for this team.
The Packers still have like 10, 12 days, but there's some teams that are a week away.
Yeah, I just texted Lucas Patrick for the Giants. He's heading there tomorrow because they got a new coach and stuff.
Oh, wow. That's right. They got Harbaugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Man. Can we get
tomorrow? What is that? Oh, the 22nd?
Yeah, that's early, man.
That's early.
That is early. We're going to get back into some baseball talk. Paul Wagner, longtime Brewers pitcher, is going to join us. We'll talk about Miz and the handling of the pitching staff here in the second half as the team ramps up for the postseason.
Yeah.
Like that's the hope. He's Mason Crosby. I'm Mitch Nelson, aka Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
High noon in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Nice.
Yeah. Home of the second largest mall in North America after the Mall of America.
Oh, really? I did
Yeah.
not know that.
When I was a kid, I don't know, I think because I was a hockey fan and the Edmonton Oilers, Wayne Gretzky, obviously, that like we all knew that Edmonton had the biggest mall in North America, and then Mall of America was built.
Oh man!
And
so it was the original.
I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
the original mall.
How about that? What if you were going to build a mall and your goal was to make the second biggest mall in North America?
Oh, that'd be brutal. Like we don't want to be quite as big as Minnesota.
Feel that's like that would be a Canadian thing to do.
Yeah,
like
just
all of America,
just Canada nice,
first,
right? Canada nice.
We're just gonna build the second biggest mall.
Have they sent an apology for the fires yet? I don't know. It was northern Minnesota too, though. It wasn't just Canada. Northern Minnesota had some of the wildfires too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they're saying sorry up there.
We have some news from our Milwaukee Brewers as we get to Paul Wagner, and we will get his response to this news as well. Kyle Harrison is tentatively on track for a rehab start July 31st.
Yeah.
So 10 days from now. I feel like he's probably been out for about 10 days, maybe a little bit more. So, the 15-day injured list. He's going to take a little bit more time, but again, they're being cautious.
Yeah.
They want to make sure he's healthy. The other big news from the Milwaukee Brewers, and this is where I'm going to say I told you so. The Brewers are planning to pitch Brandon Sprout on 4 days rest, which is normal rest, against the Rockies this weekend, giving Jacob Mizorowski at least a week between starts. The number one most important priority, as Adam McCalvey tweets out, in the second half, delivering Jacob Mizorowski to October at full strength.
Yeah.
And if that means pitching once a week, once every 7 days, as opposed to once every 5 days, that is what the Brewers are going to do.
Yeah, and as we had callers, come Tommy and Bayview, and like everybody calling in. I mean, I feel like that is. That's what we want, right? I want him to get a Cy Young. I want him to have his flowers, but ultimately, if they do that, then we can say they are positioning themselves and focused on the playoffs and going and trying to get a win. I mean, that's what the Dodgers did last year, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Like, we didn't see,
and they're doing this year. I mean, they've got 2 days
very, very often, and then all of a sudden they came out gangbusters.
They've got 2 guys on the 60-day injured list right now, just rehabbing and taking their time and no rush.
Yeah.
That's Glasnow and Snell. Yeah. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, our good friend Paul Wagner, former Brewers pitcher, and he can absolutely speak to rehab starts and resting in July to get ready for October. Paul, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, boys. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, Paul, tell us what it's like to rest, in between starts and, just have them take good care of you. You got a lot of that treatment, didn't you?
Hey, that's good. That's a good one. No, when they gave me rest, they pretty much wanted me to go home. And when I showed back up after 15 days, they were like, "Oh hell,
what are you still doing here?"
Oh, this code still works.
The good thing about with that coming out and Adam reporting that and Pat Murphy saying it and stuff like that shows that this organization is preparing for a very deep run into October and the playoffs, which in turn means then whatever holes need to be filled or whatever additions need to be made, it sounds like the Milwaukee Brewers are willing to do that. It's not about getting reps right now for Mizorowski. It's having him be ready to pitch in possibly a World Series Game 1.
Yeah. I mean, it totally seems that way. I mean, like we said, it's wild to think Glasnow and Snell go on IL. Like, is there ever going to be a world where it's like that's not a thing, like where you have to actually have a reason, like a legitimate reason to go on those lists? Because what are they getting paid? $20 million plus a year. And it's like, they're just rehabbing, doing their thing and just getting ready for the playoffs.
Yep.
Because And the 162 game marathon is important. I mean, the fans love it. It gives us summer entertainment. It does things. We sell tickets. We sell beers. Everybody has a great time. We tailgate. But the bottom line for an organization or for a business is what happens in the playoffs and the postseason, and that's what matters. My $20 million, my $30 million, my $35 million investment for Blake Snell isn't necessarily for Blake Snell to win 15 games during the regular season. That money is so Blake Snell wins 3 postseason games as I win a world championship.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I mean, it is crazy whenever you look at the Dodgers run there and like, you know, they pay Ohtani, they pay all these guys, but because of the championships, because of what they end up doing in October, they basically pay themselves back, you know, and pay off all those salaries just because of their winning pedigree that they've created. So I do think the Brewers now they're seeing some of those things. And with a guy like Mizorowski, you have to be smart. You have to have him as fresh as possible coming into October. And then you just have to apologize to him if he doesn't get the Cy Young because you just set him a little bit more, you know, and he doesn't get his flowers for being the best pitcher in the NL.
Yeah, and the conversation, don't get this misconstrued or anything like that. This conversation with Pat Murphy, the Milwaukee Brewers, does involve Jacob Mizorowski. I mean, he does have a say into it, and it's not like something they're just saying, hey, you're getting bumped or you're doing this. This is what we're thinking. This is what we are planning on doing, and this is why we're doing it. So what, where, when, and why are very, very important to the player. And if the player buys into it, then he's understanding.
Yeah, take away all the records, all like anything individual that I ever did, all that. If I hadn't won a Super Bowl, like none of that would have mattered. Like winning a championship is all that like matters at the end of the day. Like you can go and you can do things and they'll list your stuff. But when you say Super Bowl champion, that trumps it all. Like that trumps it all. And so I'm sure that conversation with Miz, it's just like, hey, you know, we're going to do this. We have a feeling we can get this thing done this year. What do you feel? I'm sure he's just like, I want to win a World Series. That is what matters the most.
Exactly. Nobody asks you, hey, how many 55-yarders did you kick, or how many home runs did you give up, or how many wins did you have? How many rings?
Yeah.
When it's the players, when it's the players circle, when it's the athlete circle, the athletes act with, you know, whatever it is. We win games, we lose games, we play seasons. NBA is the same. There's all things. How many rings do you have? How many championships, and what are you all about? Because winning is everything.
It is, no doubt. So let's go into kind of some other pieces of this roster. Cooper Pratt gets his first home run, so let's just start there and let's talk about what he's been here in the month of July, where he kind of had a little fall off there in June. And I talked about it like a football season where it's like he came out, he didn't know any better, he was hitting okay, he was playing all right, and then he almost sophomore slumped in June, and now he's like, all right, like let's not get too high too low, let's figure it out and let's just kind of steady the ship. And
it looks like he's figuring it out at least a little bit
and
the last couple of weeks.
So when we talked to you last time, like what's your feel on Cooper Pratt, and like is he a guy that's going to be on this roster for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him, and I said it last week. I don't know him. He's probably a great guy. He's a great player. It wasn't like he just snuck up. He was a high draft pick. I mean, all the tangibles are there for him. But this Brewer system is loaded. You don't need a Pena and a Made and a Pratt. You don't need that. I mean, if you want to win a World Series, you can't keep all the shiny toys. Nobody wants to trade you Tarek Skubal for Joey Ortiz. Everybody goes, hey, get rid of Joey Ortiz.
That'd be great.
Get rid of Joey and get Skubal. That'd be nice.
You know, and I remember that. And back in the old days when CC came over, Ricky Weeks was struggling. And they were like, go get this guy. Give him Ricky Weeks. Well, Ricky Weeks was hitting $190. Everybody in the league knows he was hitting $190.
True.
You can't keep all the shiny toys. You have to give some of them up. And if they're evaluating, and if they think that maybe a Made on the open market, I'm just saying this, sarcastically, brings a hell of a lot more in return than a Cooper Pratt. But if Cooper Pratt can fill the shoes and do what the Milwaukee Brewers' objective is, then maybe that's the way it goes. Do I believe that? No. I believe that some of these guys are being showcased with big league talent to see what they can do at the big league level, because I think Made is a superstar, and I've said this before. I've seen him a few times. I've seen him play. I've never talked to him. I've talked to players that know him. Phenom in the making. Wow. And again, I don't want to put a label on that. Jackson Chourio, look at what you are building this organization around right now. If you have a Jackson Chourio and a Made signed and moving forward.
That's what I was saying earlier. I mean, you just look at the guys coming up and the guys that are already there. I mean, you got Jackson Chourio obviously playing at a high level, and then Made, Pena, Fisher. Like, you got 4 or 5 guys. If Cooper Pratt's in the mix, Lara in the mix, I mean, you literally can replace your team with prospects. and I think everyone, like, they'd probably still go out and get the job done. So yes, they have just a plethora of riches, and they do have to make a decision at some point, because you can't keep all of them and continue to build for the future or go win championships. I do think at some point there's just one little move that you have to make to maybe go and get that championship.
I agree with you. There's that time, and hopefully they've timelined it perfectly, and they know what they have to do, and they know what to do. And they're just trying to see, they want to see reps and see what they're going to give away, what they're going to offer, because the package to get somebody good to compete, I hate to say, with the Dodgers, it has to be pretty. It has to be pretty. Nobody's going to take, like I said, nothing against Joey Ortiz, but it ain't going to be a Joey Ortiz, or if we still had Monasterio, or if we still had something like that. It's going to take something good. And now the Brewers just have to evaluate their talent correctly before they part with any of them.
All right. Real quick, though. Paul Wagner joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. I want to know if we sound like a broken record, right? Because whether it's every week with you, Paul, or every day on the Mason Crosby Show, or every day on Wisconsin Morning Wake Up Call, or on 9 to noon with Kuhn, or Wisconsin Sports Daily with Sparky, we are continually having this discussion. What's the move the Brewers need to make? Do the Brewers need to make a move? And I think these are worthy conversations to have, but is there an element of a broken record? Like, what's it going to take for the Brewers to actually either make that move, or for us to realize the Brewers are never going to make that move?
I know we spin our wheels in the mud every year. As a fan, we do it every year. We're like, this is the year. But I think when you've got a Jacob Misiorowski, who's probably, if not, I would say, I've told you this before, I think he's the best pitcher in the game right now. You have got to make sure that this window doesn't close on you. And if you do, I think this is one of the situations where some fans, not all, but some fans could not walk away. We never walk away, be pretty much more upset than they have been in the past, because this is an opportunity where I believe this team is going to win more than 97 games. This team is going to break the record that they did last year, and nobody thought that. I think Vegas had them coming in at 84.5 or 85.5. This team is that good, and it's got to be done. It has to be done. Like we just said on the athlete side. The athlete side wants to win. We want to win. We want to get paid. We want to get paid. We want to win. Those things sometimes go hand in hand.
Oh, for
and
sure.
That's why this Milwaukee Brewer team has to win and has to make moves to win to satisfy everybody.
Because what I know first and foremost is being part of the Green Bay Packers, being in the NFL. I always look at these types of things from that vantage point, and I just remember everybody probably got paid just a little bit more when we won the Super Bowl, right? Like, guys were going to go to free agency and get deals, but you go and win a Super Bowl, you get paid just a little bit more, because there's an aura to it. I do want to kind of compare these two situations. So do you look at this Brewers team, and as it's constructed right now, do you not do you kind of have a hesitation that they can compete with the Dodgers and get it done with this roster? Like, you do believe they need one more piece? And then I look back at like the Packers, and Mitch and I might talk about this, on a different show or later, but I'd be interested, as from your vantage point as well. Like, we always talked about that, and the media talked about if the Packers just went all in. And I'm always like, what was the thought then, or what is all in from a fan media perspective in these situations? So I guess in this one, it's the low-hanging fruit for the Brewers is go get Skubal. Go get that starting pitcher that will just solidify that. I just want to know your thoughts on, can this Brewers team win with the roster that they have, or what is that piece that they need to get?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all true. I mean, I'd love to have another starting pitcher. I'd love to have somebody that could give me a couple more home runs. Mm-hmm. I'd love to have another power arm out of the bullpen. I'd like to have a left-handed specialist who can go after, let's just make it up, a Freddie Freeman. I want a double, depending on how Dave Roberts sets up his lineup. He's not going to go lefty, 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 righty, right, so that Pat Murphy can bring him in. They're going to spread them out. You're going to go righty, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, righty. Their lineup is going to be set up so if the Milwaukee Brewers have one left-handed reliever, he's not going to be able to dominate an inning. That's why they do that. I mean, it's so many things that you could add, but you got to be careful. You're right. And when you say kick it down, what are you going to add? You've got to realize that in some aspect, somewhere in this layout, if you do make a move like that, it's going to hinder you a little bit because, like I said earlier, you got to give something to get something. Yeah. And we're always in that situation where we got this and we got this, and a prospect is a prospect, you know it?
Exactly. Yeah, I look at it too, though, and like, is it a slippery slope if you just start building a roster to combat the Dodgers? Like, is that a slippery?
I think that's one of the most important questions we're going to ask the next 10 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Up till the trade deadline. Yeah. It's like, is they learned so much last year?
Exactly.
But did they learn? Is it almost too much that if they prepared just for the Dodgers and the Dodgers lose to the Phillies, and all of a sudden you're not matched up right for the Phillies? Now you should be matched up right for anybody, sure, but can you go all in, quote unquote, to make sure you match up as well as possible against the Dodgers?
You have to. That's what winning teams do. I'm not going to match up myself against the Cincinnati Reds or the Kansas City Royals.
That's correct.
They're not going to be there.
Right.
I've learned my lesson. If everything falls into place like it should, and usually it never does, this is who I have to beat. This is who I have to take care of. And this is where I didn't do it last year. So yeah, you build your roster and you do things to beat the best. I would never encourage someone to build their roster about beating the Pittsburgh Pirates because they're garbage. I mean, you don't do that. You just don't do it.
Except the Brewers have a little struggle.
Right, have some issues in
Pirates.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're like, we're not built to beat the Pirates. We can beat everyone else, just not the Pirates.
There's always that team, though, right, Paul? Like, there's always that one random team that's kind of your bugaboo.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago when the Oakland A's came into town, and we're like, Oakland, man, I think they've won 3 games all year.
And they swept the series, yep.
Yeah. So, again, I understand it. They're big league bats. Everybody can play the game. But, no, when I'm constructing my playoff roster, that's why you have information. You see who's in, who's coming out of the East. Is it Atlanta? Is it going to be Philly? Are they going to sneak in there? If we get past that, is San Diego going to get in there? Is it going to be the Dodgers? Who's going to come out of ours? Are the Cubs actually going to make it? Are they going to catch up to us? And then I have to look and see when it comes down to it, who am I going to play in the World Series? Is it going to be the Yankees? Is it going to be so many pieces to look at and to figure it out? But you have to, because you don't want, like they say, you don't want to be caught with your pants down. I mean, hell, if we end up facing a team that we're not prepared for, this Milwaukee Brewer organization doesn't act like that. They don't play like that. So this team and this organization will be prepared for any opponent they have.
Paul, I know last week we talked to you. You were out working in the field and you were avoiding the smoke, and you might have had a can or a bottle in your hand. How's everything looking this week?
I was just out there this morning. I'm heading up to the stadium. We got a kid throwing. we're playing the Milwaukee Milkmen again. So we're going down to Franklin, but I was spraying. So I picked up a sprayer. I was spraying the weeds. It's getting there. I got the guy coming over. We're going to till up some land. We're going to plant some crops.
Nice.
And we're going to harvest some big white-tailed deer.
All right. So I got a question. Yeah. So Mason wants to ask you about that. But as a farmer, how do you feel about the whole daylight savings thing? Because for forever in our country's history, we were told daylight savings exists for the agrarian economy and for the farmers. How do you feel about if there's no more daylight savings time or whatever the move ends up being?
All I know is I can shoot 20 minutes after dark or sunset, so it doesn't matter if it's an hour early, an hour later. The animals play the same time. So yeah, it's a crazy thing, but I like it. It's not bad. I'm fortunate enough, and some of the guys that we hunt with, fortunate enough to get out there early. But when after that 1st of November, when daylight savings kicks in and it gets dark at 5 o'clock, it's tough. People are working, so it's hard for them to get out and go hunting and enjoy the outdoors. But I don't mind it. It's good for me. I get back in. I can spend time with the girls. I can make some food. I can get on the grill. I can do things. But no, it's an exciting time. Fall is always the most exciting time of the year for me.
I love that. What's the biggest deer you've taken off your property there?
Off of mine, 163 inches.
Nice.
Nice. But more generally, excuse me, in that one, those 8-pointers that are in that 120. We had a lot of let them go. The problem is I got neighbors next door who, the brown, it's down. I can't do necessarily a quality deer management here. I gotta try to get as much planted on my land that they stay here and don't want to leave, because everybody next door to us shoots and takes care of everything else.
Just entice them over. I love it.
Yeah. Yep. What's the most enticing thing for a deer?
Water.
Somebody
will yell at me. Somebody will yell. Somebody will complain. The biggest thing that I've learned is when they're chasing those does, and how the bar gets, and guys are chasing females around, and they get thirsty, and they can go a little bit without food, but you got to have water for these animals, and these animals have water. They come to it, and that's where you can kind of hopefully ambush them.
Hey, we all get a little thirsty sometimes.
Right. You gotta hydrate.
Let's go.
So we got the one bucket, we got the bucket for the deer, and then we got the bucket for the boys hunting. And that one usually goes a lot faster than the deer water.
Nice.
I love that.
Paul, thanks so much for jumping on this week. We'll talk to you next week.
That sounds good, boys. Talk to you.
You bet. Go get those milkmen. That's Paul Wagner joining us here on the Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We've got plenty still to get to. We've got our conversation about what makes an athlete versus what makes you good at your sport. I feel like we've created more Brewers questions than we've answered today. And that's okay. Like, it's July 21st.
Yeah.
We're allowed to have questions.
So many.
The U12 Little League Softball World Series is on ESPN now.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm like,
yeah.
I am all in. Like, this is the age group I coach. Like, I am all in. So Mace, you and Charlie, you guys can take the rest of the
Thunder's
show.
distracted.
I got to watch what's going on here. We got Georgia, North Carolina in an elimination game right now going on.
When are you going to get a team there?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the question. Let's go, wife.
So cool.
Team Wisconsin.
You guys would have the best walk-up music and everything.
We definitely would have the best walk-up music. He's Mason Crosby. Charlie Usen's here. My name's Mitch Nelson, a.k.a. Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show. Wait, what? This is the Mason Crosby Show with me, Mitch Thunder Nellis, Charlie Usen in the chair today. Chuck, how was your weekend, bro?
It was fine. I just work a lot. Saturday, I went out with some friends. We wanted to go mini golfing, but it was a little too hazy out still. And then we were like, well, let's just go to a bunch of bars. And then we ended up going to a bar that was mostly outside anyway. So
perfect.
Mini golf would have been a little too active.
That's true. So then
like
just sitting down and drinking was a little less active. And we had fun with that.
Smart.
That is hilarious. Paul Wagner was just on. I want to remind everybody that baseball coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. Mason, I got to ask you this.
Okay.
What if, like 2 years from now, Earth goes off the skis and communication towers are totally changed and Wi-Fi costs 10 times as much as it does now?
Wow.
But today, you sign up with Xfinity for one price, 5 years guaranteed.
Whoa.
Are you in?
Locked in.
Like, because weird things happen on Earth. I don't know if you know this or not. The planet we live on, weird things happen sometimes.
Let's be honest. Like, nothing's getting cheaper.
Right.
Yeah, so
exactly.
You can lock it in right now.
I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah.
Just lock it up. Just you lock it up.
That's right. I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, let's talk about being an athlete and being good at sports. And is there a difference? Whenever somebody just is a one sport athlete, like just finds a way to like lock into that sport.
Yep.
Would you consider them like if a football player?
All right.
Like, and I told you this example. I had a guy I played high school football with.
Yep.
Big physical linebacker.
Yep.
Really good at his position.
Crushed people on the football field.
Like he was the man in football.
Yeah.
Could not play any other sport.
Like a donkey out there.
Yeah, like basketball was painful. Like he picked last. Like you don't want him on your team. Like not coordinated and like
Philip Seymour Hoffman
wouldn't have been
in
invited to my
Poly.
softball game. Yes,
right.
Just I know we talked about long play.
Like
teardrop rain.
Yeah. That's how I get told I play basketball.
Oh, Charlie,
I get that gif of Philip
Seymour
Hoffman.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
That scene is.
Do you take your shirt off too and just
of course I do.
Sure.
You don't play pickup basketball with your shirt on. What are you talking about?
The face.
Well, you go shirts and skins. So
I'm always skins. I choose skins.
Choose skins.
We should go shirts and skins on the show too. I'm going shirts. You go skins.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So, and I want to give Mitch a shout out from my the Border Brew, which again appreciate everybody that came out, all the fans, everyone that was involved. Raised a lot of money for Make-A-Wish. It was an awesome day. But Mitch was the MVP, defensive MVP.
Oh, defensive,
defensive MVP. I mean,
like Jordy hit 2 3-run homers.
Yeah, I mean. Jordy's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Jordy's swing speed is off the charts.
Yep.
But I did dominate him at golf, like I promised I would.
Of course,
yeah.
I would hope so.
But anyways, like Mitch, I would call you an athlete. Like watching you out there at your elevated age.
Yes.
But just how you move on the field, you're scooping up and firing strikes to first.
Yep.
And I know you play basketball and all.
I do.
Like, so to do that,
Pickleball.
you have to have athleticism.
I'm okay at tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I can hang.
I would call you. I would call you athletic and an athlete.
Yeah, I'm a poor man's athlete. Like but I agree.
But
like
you can do a lot of things well.
Yes. Yeah.
And
like,
I would, in my mind, I'm like athletes can go and pick up a sport and do it at an average or better level.
Like even volleyball. Like I could you give me like a few, I could go and hang. I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be great. I don't know the angles. Like I don't know the sport, but I can go and be athletic enough to like not be a detriment to the team.
And I've said this forever from again that guy in high school.
Yep.
He didn't play in college.
Really?
He didn't play football.
Should he have played football in college?
I don't think he was stiff. He wasn't
okay.
Like, and then I say this all the time. It's like high school, you can play your sport
right
and be good at that one thing.
Right.
College, it starts defining down where it's like they start looking for
athleticism.
And then I swear in the NFL playing in that, like it was few and far between where a guy wasn't like the best athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just they were going to be a great they'd have multiple sports that they excelled at or were good at.
And to your point, Mace, we hear about this all the time. Like the step from high school to college,
yeah,
even D3,
yeah,
but then D1, even junior college, D3, D1, that like each step up, it's the speed of the game. It's the athleticism game. Yeah. It's not necessarily like the skill of how good your hands are.
It's reaction
but
and all the stuff. Yeah.
And then from college to the pros, it's a whole nother level.
Sure.
But again, it's of speed, it's of athleticism. Yeah. And everybody, again, you go to college and to your point, everybody was the best player on their high school team. Like, great, best player in your high school team. Everybody was. That's why we're playing major D1 football.
Exactly. And that, like, spending time with Jordy, it always reminds me of this as well.
Yep.
Because he was a defensive back whenever he went to K-State, right? Like, he went to K-State as a defensive back. If he wasn't a great athlete, he might not have been able to transition and play wide receiver.
Sure.
Right. Like he was a great athlete, can do a lot of things, just, talented in a lot of spaces. And they saw that and they were like, we're going to put you on the other side of the ball. And then he becomes all world everything. Right. Yeah. And it's like, that is what Sam Shields was, a wide receiver, and he goes to DB. Like, you see that a lot, and it's crazy. You see that in the NFL, honestly, quite a bit. And that's because those guys are athletes first. Just focusing and being, and that's why young kids and all that, it's like, be an athlete, go play multiple things. Like, try to do it all.
Play multiple sports. Like, absolutely.
You're actually probably going to be better off being like good above average at multiple things than like trying to just hone in on one thing. And then you kind of lose focus on how to be an athlete sometimes. Right. And like, and just move.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. 414-677-1250. Your take on this concept of athleticism versus being good at your sport, the importance of playing multiple sports. What do you see in youth sports? What did you go through when you were in high school or when you were in college? And I think Charlie's like the perfect guy to pick on here because Charlie played high-level high school football.
Yeah.
He played college football. And I'm guessing you played with different guys of different athleticism. Some who were really good at football, but were terrible at everything else. Some who were just natural athletes. And so they may not have been great at football per se, but they played football because they were just so athletic and they were able to do that. What did you see during your time on the gridiron?
Right. And the D3 level is really different than the D1 level still, even though it is mostly a bunch of guys who are or were one of the top 5 players on their certain high school teams.
Sure.
You also had a lot of players that were just guys that were trying to find a way to continue to play football. They may have been maybe not the best players on their team. They may have been a bench player on their team, but if you go to the right university, Elmhurst University, when I played there, was not very good at football. So a lot of guys got opportunities just to be a part of the team. I think that's huge too. I think kind of building this idea that you'll always have a spot as long as you're willing to work for that is really important to me as a player.
Especially in football, right?
Right. And
they're like, all right, are you willing to hit the weights? Are you going to get strong? Can you move and run? Right.
And there's always going to be somebody better than you on your own team, frankly, or there's going to be moments where somebody's going to outshow you. And how do you personally, without getting mad at that guy or getting jealous of that guy, work yourself up to that point? It's just kind of a little bit of a different mentality than everybody around you is competition. It's finding where you fit in a certain group, a certain tier on your own team and getting to that point. And I think that when you are at that point, you have so many people focusing on that and trying to focus on that one sport. Yes, you have a lot of guys who are kind of natural athletes, but you don't. You have a lot of people who are just working really hard to be at least average at the one sport. And I think that's what's awesome about sports in general is that anybody can work hard enough to get to be that athlete at some point while also being surrounded by guys who are naturally gifted too. And how can those guys push everybody else that needs to work to get to that point? I think that's what's really cool and that's what's missing. And I also think when we talk about youth athletes playing multiple sports, it's not only just for the physical development and being able to learn just the base athletic skills, but for the mental side of things too. Wow. I think when you are playing one sport and you're so focused on one thing and one position that you are burning yourself out at some point, and being able to transition between multiple sports and multiple seasons, or you like baseball one year and you want to try soccer the next year, it just gives you that freedom to branch out in your mind as well and say, hey, maybe I will like something better. Maybe this isn't the end game for me. I can figure that out. I think that's huge for their mental development too.
Well, Charlie, I think you said exactly, again, I think
how smart is Charlie?
I was missing as well. Thanks. And what I was trying to portray also is get uncomfortable, right? Like go and play multiple sports, maybe that you don't feel because then you're willing to work, right? Like you have to be willing to put that work in. And it's like, if you just do what's comfortable all the time and what you are maybe naturally geared towards, you don't improve yourself as far as you possibly could. So I think that cross training, all those things stretches you and it allows you to work hard, like you're saying, because I've unfortunately seen a lot of good athletes and like talent go wasted because they were too athletic, they were too talented and they stopped working. Right. Like, so there is that balance there where if you think you are so athletic and like everything comes naturally to you, if you stop working at it, someone will work harder than you at some point and surpass you and they will be seen.
I'm going to hijack this conversation to take it to a place where you're going to be happy I take it to, but you're not going to see it coming.
Okay.
We're talking about athleticism and about how athletes are brought up and the concept of playing one sport versus athletes in multiple sports and whether you are just good at your sport or you're an athlete. Well, we here in America, as we do every 4 years, reach this amazing inflection point where soccer is arriving. And we've been told for 50 years that soccer's here. Soccer's not here. Pele brought soccer to the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars. And soccer's still like, it's okay. Yeah. It's here, but it's not quite. How do we talk about the athleticism of our kids and figuring out like, all right, football's going to be number one. But if you're going to be like the third string cornerback on your high school team, and it's a really good high school, it's a Texas high school team, or it's Ohio or whatever, versus like when you're 10, 11, 12, learning to play soccer and figuring out that athleticism. Yeah. If you're not just a football player, but you're actually an athlete, how do we get our athletes to embrace multiple sports, to embrace soccer and football, which isn't always easy to do? Are they the same? Are they both fall sports?
For men, soccer is a spring sport.
Okay. I know in some state it differs by state. I know that. Yeah. But like,
and that's a tricky thing as well.
Do we have an opportunity again, because it's a World Cup year?
That's where my theory falls apart though, whenever you think internationally, because most of those soccer players, that's the only thing they've ever done.
Right.
But it might have been out of necessity.
But they've also been taken by the time they were like 8 or 10 years old and taken to a soccer academy where they go to school and they eat and they hang out with other soccer players. And they'd probably be really good at basketball. Yeah. They'd probably be really good at American football. But don't we have enough kids in America that we could still be amazing at football and still be amazing at basketball player and get all those players, but also get amazing soccer players?
And it's like because of America's, sports culture and what it is, it's like there's just maybe not enough room for it at times. Numbers, America has like 10x the next country of like youth soccer players. Like everybody kind of gets into it. And then you just find the sport you want to play, right? And you get pulled into something else. I always love when the World Cup comes. I love watching soccer because I look at other countries too, and I'm like, the big guy on their team, I'm like, what would they have played if they were in the U.S.? Would they have gone soccer? Erling Haaland?
Yep.
They kept comparing him to football play. I mean, he's as big as the Teteria, like the guy for McMillan. It's like he's 6'4", 200 pounds. Like the dude would have probably gotten pulled to try to play American football had he grown up in the States. So there is some of that. But I think too, with we talk about the mental side of sports as well. I do just think if you play multiple sports, it stretches your brain, right? Like you're like, all right, I got to shoot some hoops. throwing the softball on Sunday. Like, how awesome was that? Like, I'm just like, man, I just don't play catch enough, like throw the softball around and the skill that it takes to use your left hand catch and you're throwing right-handed.
Yeah.
You get a ball on your feet. It's so different than running and playing football, American football. So those things can be so beneficial for you in so many ways. And I think that's like my idea of why playing multiple sports as a young kid is just so important, because it trains your brain in so many different ways. And then you choose whenever you get a little bit older.
Yep. My son plays middle school baseball and travel baseball and rec basketball in the offseason of baseball. just to keep his conditioning up when it's the offseason of baseball. I like that from the 4-on-4, but I'd love to see even more, like, not just rec, but like, are there other sports that your son would like to play or would embrace? 4-on-4 says, come on, Thunder. It's all about the Benjamins. How much do MLS guys make versus the other major U.S. sports? I do believe boys soccer is in the fall in Wisconsin.
I think it's girls soccer. That's
girls soccer's in the spring. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm a high school girls basketball coach at a D3 school. We are struggling with numbers in our program because there are so many girls who are specializing in either softball or volleyball. Small schools need kids to be multi-sport athletes. Our best player ever, who's currently a D1 college athlete, played and excelled in 3 sports. She was so good because she was an athlete. And I think we're seeing this a lot. And listen, I'm gonna call out a sport right now.
Okay.
Girls volleyball is killing everybody, and it's crap. Like, if you are involved in girls volleyball, be better. Stop being a jackwagon. You are the scourge of America right now. And it used to be soccer.
Yeah.
Like, I think soccer has come a long way toward embracing multiple sports, because especially with girls, because I coach girls, but like, we were seeing 1 million ACL injuries.
Yeah.
And we're seeing less when you play multiple sports and you build up the strength. But now volleyball has come in and told their girls, not only do you need to play fall, high school, or in season, but you're playing club all year long. And so you can't play soccer, you can't play softball, you can't play basketball. We're stealing all your girls from all the other sports. It's so freaking stupid. I want to smack volleyball in the mouth.
Wow.
And so if you are a volleyball only parent, if you are a volleyball only coach, program, do better, because right now you suck. Okay, you just flat out suck for our kids. You are ruining your kids. You are ruining other people's kids. And now we have to get to a break. He's Mason Crosby. He's Charlie Usen. I'm Mitch Nellis. Volleyball, be better. It's the Mason Crosby Show.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
All right. Hey, awesome Tuesday. Thanks to Charlie Usen. Thanks, Mitch Thunder Nellis, for holding it down.
Let's go.
Awesome weekend. And hey, be better. Just be better. We need to be better with time management.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So let's be better on Wednesday, and we'll do this again tomorrow.
Nolan, drive the speed limit. Mason, you're an adult. You do what you need to do.
I'll do what I need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Safe travels.
Thank you.
And you're here tomorrow?
No,
You're
I'll
off
be on. No,
you're
on. I'm on the rest
You're
of the
not
week.
here, but you're on.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Charlie, great job as always. Sparky's next. Oh. Everybody just take a deep breath. It's all good.
We're going to be better.
It's the Mason Crosby Show.